Alright, enough fucking around. What's up with this chair? Covered in blood. There's blood on the chair. You think this was the dead guys? Yeah, probably. There's blood on the chair. Kinda creeping me out. Camera. Camcorder. Looks like it's pointed at the door. Well, the power's on. Why would someone want to videotape a door? People gotta jack off to something. Sweet. Oh, it's one of those old music boxes. How about we wind it up? Why does it sound like that? Is it broken? The pins on the cylinder are shaped all weird. I don't think those are the pins. Looks like I'm gonna put something else on top of it. I think we're gonna have to take it apart to figure out what's going on, don't you? Sure thing, Chloe. It's a lamp, but it doesn't turn on. I don't think there's anything special about it. Small tableau. Bed. There's nothing in it. There's just some random hallway on this one. Screen showing what's happening at the central staircase on B deck. This screen shows the big hospital room. Screen shows what's going on in a small room somewhere that I don't recognize. This one shows the central staircase on C deck. The room on this screen looks really fancy. I don't recognize the room on this one. There's a bunch of weird buttons on here. Probably switch what you see on the screens. Do you know how to work this thing? Why don't we just press one of these? Like this one. Ah, well, I guess this changes it. What the hell is this? Hey, isn't this the door on the screen the one right behind us? You're right. So whatever that camera sees is sent to the screen in real time. What if that means something, you know? What's the deal with this? Is it some kind of code? There are 4 rows of numbers and letters. They all start with a 0 and end with 8, F, N, or V respectively. Maybe this has something to do with the number bases. Number 0 has been added to the file screen. Well, I guarantee I'll figure that one out. Junpei snorted with the grim humor for the second time since he'd come into the room. The 4 screens along the bottom had a single letter each, spelling out 0. Junpei felt as though he was being mocked. The real villain was somewhere laughing at him. What do you think? He turned to Clover, who was standing next to him. Her voice was almost too low to hear. Nothing. It seemed that she cared about little. Of course, Junpei could hardly blame her. Given the strain she was surely under, Junpei was somewhat surprised she had responded at all. Still, he had to ask. He gestured toward the corpse. What about him? You think that's really 0? Clover shook her head weakly. There's no way that's him. Didn't I tell you already? 0 is one of us. Yeah, right. Well, even if he wasn't one of us, there's no way that man could be 0. Huh? Didn't you get it? The letters that spell 0 on the TV screen. The captain's clothes he's got on. And of course, the bracelet with the 0 on it. It's too obvious. Look, this is 0 right here. This dead body is 0. Doesn't that seem kind of funny to you? You're right. Only an idiot wouldn't see through something like that. No, that's not the point. I'm not trying to make fun of them for thinking a trick like this would work. I'm sure they didn't think it would work. Which makes me wonder, why did they do it? I think this is a challenge. A challenge from the person who's really behind all of this. He's making fun of us. Don't you get it? If whoever killed this guy really wanted us to think this corpse was 0, they'd never have put a bracelet on him. Walking about with the 0 bracelet would be like hanging a sign around your neck that said, I did it. Anyone with a brain would be able to see that this guy is supposed to look like everything 0 is supposed to be. Just like we did. The killer must have known he wouldn't think he was 0 and put a bracelet on him anyway. You know why? Why? Like I said, he's mocking us. Too bad, suckers. This isn't 0. It's the same bad joke a lot of criminals like to play. They'll just sit back and watch people run in circles. Look, here I am. What's wrong, guys? Come on, catch me if you can. It's really twisted. But it almost seems kind of childish. Yeah, you're right. It's really childish. It's just like it's a game to whoever this person is. That's what seems funny to me. Junpei bent down next to the corpse. Alright, let's get back to the point. Who killed this man? I don't know. What's this guy's deal? Who is he? How would I know that? If I knew anything, I would have told you. You have no idea who he is? Why would I? Junpei sat back on his haunches and thought. We should check and see if he's got anything on him that might tell us who he is. Give me a hand here, Clover. What? We gotta flip him over. How else are we gonna search his pockets? Clover didn't move. Junpei had no choice but to move the body on his own. He grabbed hold of an area not completely covered in blood and shoved. It took a moment, but eventually Junpei felt the man's bulk begin to shift. But just as it did, something fell from the man's left wrist. Surprise! The bracelet with the 0 on the face. Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1. You escape from this ship. 2. Your heart rate reaches 0. Huh. In other words, once a bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or detects that its wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. Junpei stared at the bracelet. This man, he's dead, isn't he? Huh? No, it's just, I guess I didn't really think about it until right now. If his bracelet's off, that means he's dead. Well, it's pretty obvious he's dead. You don't really need to look at his bracelet to figure that out. Figure out that he's dead. Yeah, I guess you're right. It is pretty obvious. He looks a lot better than the other bodies we've seen, though, you know? I mean, if there wasn't all this blood, he'd almost look like he was still alive. I mean, I know it's kind of a messed up thing to say, but he kind of has it better, you know? Dying from a bomb going up inside you? I mean, that's just... Some snake's bones went right through his skin. Yeah, shut the fuck up, please. I think the explosion must have thrown him against the wall or something. There's a broken bone. Just shut the fuck up. You fucking idiot. Suddenly, Junpei realized what he was saying. How could he have been so cruel? He clapped his hands over his mouth. But it was already too late. He turned to look at Clover. She was glaring at him furiously. What did you just say? Her words sounded cold. He knew an apology could hardly atone for what he'd done, but he tried anyway. Oh man. I am so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I really don't know what I was thinking. I mean... No. That's not what I'm talking about. What did you say about his arm? Arm? Yeah, his left arm. You said it, didn't you? Oh, well, yeah, I did, but... I mean, didn't you see it too? Of course not. I could barely look at him. Clover took a quick, deep breath. Are you sure it was his left arm? Junpei thought back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. And he had broken bone, right? The hell are you getting at here? Just shut up and answer me. She shoved her face closer to his. He could see the fire in her eyes. Junpei winced and swallowed. Yeah, he did. It's pretty bad, too. The bone was sticking out of the arm. No sooner were the words out of his mouth than Clover's expression changed. Suddenly, she was crying. Junpei wasn't sure what to do. Thank you. It was close to the last thing he had expected to hear. Junpei had no idea what had just happened. He didn't think he'd done anything worthy of thanks, and he couldn't understand why she would have chosen that moment to begin crying. So he simply stood there, confused. Thank you, Junpei. She thanked him again, and then something even stranger happened. Yep. Strange, alright. Clover threw herself into Junpei's surprised arms. Hey, what's going on with you? I'm sorry, it's just... I'm so happy. Why? The body in the shower room. It isn't his. It isn't my brother. Huh? It's not Snake. Why on earth would you think that? Because his left arm is... She stopped herself. I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be talking about this. Prosthetic? Junpei decided it would be prudent not to press her for any more information. If she did not wish to tell him, she certainly had a reason for doing so. Perhaps more importantly, however, if Clover was so certain, she was likely right. That meant the body in the shower room wasn't Snake. It wasn't much, but that knowledge lifted some of the weight from Junpei's heart. He's still alive. I'm so happy. Tears shone in her eyes. Those tears melted Junpei's heart. As she cried, she had pushed herself up against his chest like a child. Junpei put his arms around her and held her tight. Junpei, you were right. Huh? No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love. If you can remember all those things, that'll bring you good luck. Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out. It was her deck. Wait. It was a laminated bookmark with a 4-leaf clover. I only made it here because you gave me this. I was suspicious of everybody, and I was angry and miserable. But because I had this 4-leaf clover, because of what you said to me, Junpei hadn't thought his words would have such an effect on her. Her words are making me feel a little awkward. Thank you so much, Junpei. She looked up at him. He scratched his nose and pretended to notice something interesting somewhere else in the room. KSR, if you really want to thank somebody, you should be thanking Santa. Santa? Why? Well, he was the one who gave me that thing. And the word for each leaf? I got that from him, too. Yeah. Then suddenly... Ace in the hole. Clover broke away from Junpei. Huh? He looked confused. He hadn't thought she'd react that poorly. Clover began to pace across the room. 6 steps to the left, 6 steps to the right, another 6 to the left, and then she stopped. Did Santa really tell you those things? Her eyes were serious, but not angry. Yeah, he did. Did I say something wrong? Oh, no, not at all. In fact, this could be really good news. I think. You think? Santa knew about the words in the clover. The only people who should know about that are the other subjects. Subjects? The other people who were in the experiment 9 years ago with my brother and me. Whoop. But he's blind. And I was part of the Nevada test group. So neither of us would be able to recognize the faces of the people who were on the boat. Whoa, 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 whoa. Time out. Junpei held up his hands. He took a deep breath and let it out. Let's just calm down for a second, okay? Start from the top. Don't start at the end and then jump to the middle. You gotta start at 1, then move to 2, and 3 and 4 and so on. If you don't tell me stuff in the right order, I'm never gonna be able to figure it out. Clover nodded. Alright, let's start with this experiment. What happened on this boat 9 years ago? Do you know about the morphogenic fields? Yeah, sure. He did, and the realization sent chills down Junpei's spine. Alright, how about this? Theory of the telepathic mechanism. Junpei recounted what Lotus had told him earlier. Clover nodded. Telepathy, huh? Well, that's not really it, but I suppose it's similar. So they were testing telepathy on the ship? Yeah, I guess so. So, what exactly did they have you guys do? Same thing that we're doing now. Exactly the same thing. What? The nonary game. 9 people were put on this boat, and 9 others were put in the building in Nevada, and the game started. Junpei grabbed the sides of his head. Look, I'm sorry, but I don't... What the fuck is there not to get, you pile of shit? What do the nonary game and some telepathy experiment have to do with each other? Clover bit her lip. She blinked back sudden tears. What had happened to her in Nevada? The ability to access a morphogenic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger. You know how sometimes when you're up against a really tough problem, and then the answer just kind of pops into your head? That's an epiphany. And when you learn from the epiphany, and what you learn from the epiphany can be transmitted with telepathy. When you add danger to that equation, then it gets easier to transmit that information over telepathy. So you're saying the nonary game was supposed to introduce that element of danger? Yeah, but it couldn't be just any old danger. It had to be life and death. And someone did actually die. A girl. Junpei felt the sudden grip of despair on his heart. Something deep and distant and powerful squeezed, and for a moment he felt very, very empty and alone. She was on the boat with my brother. I was in Nevada, so I never met her, but I did hear her name. Her name was, shit, Ace. The sound of the door opening was like a gunshot. Junpei spun around. Oh, look, it's Zero. Oh, my apologies. I seem to have disturbed you. The only guy who had access to this room before, and he just so happens to be with us. Ace, you two must have strong stomachs. I can't imagine how you could stay in this room for so long. Yeah, we get off on this kind of thing. Ace glanced down on the floor. At the floor. At the corpse, covered in blood. At any rate, Junpei, would you be so kind as to come help me with something? I'm having a little trouble, and I could really use your assistance. Come on, it'll only take a moment. I'm trying to get laid here. With that, he turned and walked back toward the communications office. Clover waited until he was out of sight, then spoke in a small, quiet voice. I don't want Ace to hear us. We can talk about this later. Huh? Hey, wait! Clover ignored him. From outside, Junpei could hear Ace calling. Junpei, what are you doing in there? Hurry up! Trying to get my tip wet. Arrgh! Grumbling to himself, Junpei stomped off toward the communications office. Yeah, well, that seems like a good place to stop, so see you then.